Planned Parenthood is no longer welcome at a kids' science center in Kentucky after reps handed out an explicit coloring book to kids last week. More than 400 elementary and middle school students attended Kentucky Science Center's Health and Wellness Days event last week, only to be given an explicit coloring book courtesy of Planned Parenthood. The book included coloring pages with cartoon genitalia and contraception, a word search for terms like safe sex, and a page of sex libs, which is a perversion of Mad Libs, focusing way too much on condoms. Now, parents were understandably outraged, and the Science Center banned Planned Parenthood from the premises, but Planned Parenthood, for its part, initially denied that the episode even happened. Jennifer Allen, the group's director of external communications, initially called the allegations, quote, part of a coordinated attempt to stir outrage and manufacture controversy. The denial lasted for about a day before Allen was forced to admit that the coloring book was distributed, but she maintained that it was still medically accurate. I don't know how medically accurate sex libs can be at any given time, but that's beside the point. The bigger issue here is that, as horrific as this event may be, Planned Parenthood distributes graphic materials to kids all day, every day, online, in school, and on their social media pages. Planned Parenthood is an author and distributor of something called comprehensive sex education, which isn't merely an alternative to abstinence-only sex education. CSE is a rights-based and pleasure-based curriculum founded on the idea that kids are sexual beings with sexual rights that can consent to sexual activity. Planned Parenthood's global nonprofit, which is the International Planned Parenthood Federation, says this on its website, quote, "Young people are sexual beings. They have sexual needs, desires, fantasies, and dreams. It is important for all young people around the world to be able to explore, experience, and express their sexualities in healthy, positive, pleasurable, and safe ways. This can only happen when young people's sexual rights are guaranteed," end quote. That's a crazy statement, but that sexual ethic is baked into every CSE curriculum Planned Parenthood and its allies write and distribute, which is essentially all of them. One of these programs for high schoolers, which is called Get Real, Comprehensive Sex Education That Works, included 15 of 15 harmful CSE elements, including sexualizing children by normalizing child sex or desensitizing children to sexual things, teaching children to consent to sex, promoting premature sexual autonomy, promoting contraception and abortion to children, promoting gender ideology, and promoting risky sexual behavior. At the end of most CSE curricula, kids are then referred to Planned Parenthood's website for more information. And the material there is even more explicit than the material taught in schools. If you go to Planned Parenthood's sex ed page for teens, you'll get a list of free resources, including explicit, detailed descriptions of risky sexual behaviors, suggestions to make your sex life more pleasurable, an all about sex page with a drop-down section describing different sex toys, and misleading videos denying biological realities. One on virginity, for instance, says virginity, quote, "is complicated and really up to you to decide what to believe," end quote. Take all of this gross information, throw it on a social media page, and add a bunch of cartoon pornography to make it shiny, and that's what Planned Parenthood's social media looks like. If you go to Planned Parenthood's main Instagram page, you'll get how-to guides for risky sexual behavior, crude and explicit innuendo, and pornographic illustrations just like the ones that were distributed in the cartoon coloring book last week. So yes, Planned Parenthood distributed an explicit coloring book, and that's horrible. But the fact of the matter is that this is Planned Parenthood's bread and butter. It's part of their abortion pipeline. They have financial incentive to indoctrinate kids into performing risky sexual behaviors so that they can swoop in and provide birth control, STD testing and screening, and unfortunately, abortions. All the services that keep Planned Parenthood fat, happy, and profitable. For the Daily Citizen, I'm Emily Washburn.